maybe we need to get some other heads.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, and it really does get into much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Great to have everybody here tonight. I'm Jim McClure. This is the York County Writers Roundtable. We meet quarterly as a group that does networking of research of writers and general members of the general public. And we also, our programs are really kind of bouncing around among a couple really important topics. One is, and we've been around about 10 years or more, and we'd like to bring in local groups, that is groups from in December, we're going to have the Historic Wrightsville in to present, tell what they're doing, what their research library looks like, and so on. We also bring in speakers who may not be known to a lot of people. We like to bring in speakers that maybe people haven't heard before. So we enjoy doing that, and we also like to just point out that there's opportunities for everyone in York County to publish in a scholarly journal that the York County History Center publishes. This is a past issue, and the deadline is December 1st, and it's an open submissions process this time. So, sometimes we have a theme, but this year in 2015, it'll be an open submission. So if you have something you're working on that, consider it. The call for, submissions is on the York County History Center website. And as a matter of fact, I think we'll send that out to everybody here afterwards, just so you can see it. So we really do appreciate, getting submissions from scholars and general public members. It doesn't have to be scholarly, but it needs to be good. And, it needs to be related to York County history in a real way. So, that's what the roundtable is about tonight. In a few minutes, Nicole's going to talk to us about not only the History Center Museum, but particularly about the archives. So what we're going to do right now is talk a little bit, and we'll have a couple of people come up and talk about their projects. And then Nicole will talk, and then we'll go down to the archives, and Nicole will give us a tour. So we do want to open the mic here for you to tell about your projects, and just make them very brief, but this is a good chance for not only this audience, but also, those on live streaming, which is a considerable number, learn about your projects. So maybe just to show you how it's done, I can pick on someone here that I know won't mind coming up. Tom England, tell us what's going on with your project. And while Tom is talking, if you want to come up, just to save time, maybe you just come up over here and then take the mic after we'll go into it. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tom Yingling. I'm with the Cadores Valley Area Historical Society down in Jefferson area, Southwest York County. Couple things that's going on. First, Sunday, we're having an open to the public where you can come in and visit the museum. We have a one-room museum down there. You come in 1 to 4. And we're right in Jefferson on Baltimore Street, 48 Baltimore Street. If you want thinking of coming, I got a card I can give you for the address. Also this coming Tuesday, we're going to have a speaker, and he's going to Sterling Fritz. He's going to be talking about the sites and Kleinfelder families down in, again, the southern part of York County, down in Cadores Township, Shrewsbury Township, that area. He's related to that, but he's going to be talking about that. And just a third thing, I'll go quick. Rick Resch with West Mannheim and our group are putting together trying to build a committee that we're going to look into the mills around York County. Grant Bowden did a great job many years ago with a spreadsheet, so we're going to try to update, get GPS coordinates, and just basically, I know there's some missing mills that are not on there, so we're going to try to bring it up to par and improve that, and we're working with the York History Center to do that. So we have their blessing on that. So all together, we're hoping to improve the database. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Scott Webb, and along with my wife Kathy, we're the authors of The History of Silver Lake, as told through its deeds. We'll be presenting on this book next Thursday at Redlands Senior Center. And if you can join us, that'd be great. It's around 12:20, I think, is the slated start time on that. Just briefly, we're the first time author of a book of this type. in our business lives. We've written any number of technical journals. We were actually being interviewed by Teresa Beckel of the York Daily Record on Silver Lake, and during her questioning, we gave what we thought was the history of Silver Lake, and you kind of have this sense of obligation of giving the truth. So we just kind of like thought we did, and after she left, we looked at each other and said, "This is right. This history we gave, isn't it?" And we were kind of puzzled. We wanted to find out more. We went and talked to Dominique, as a matter of fact, Dominique Miller, and said, "Look, we know you're into history. Perhaps you can find things for us and write a book about it." She thought, "Well, that's a good idea, but you really should do that." So we started off on that, and it's been quite the adventure. The book is completed. We've looked up over 200 deeds, and we've done thousands of genealogy records tracing back the various characters in this book. So it's a narrative, a history. The chapters vary from the history of the lake itself through various families have been there for a while, and even things like the geography. I think we actually start at Pangea. I don't know if we go back too far on that, but if you can join us, we've got more to tell. Kathy, do you have anything else to add? Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Doug.
Hey, I'm Steve Smith. I write the York's Past blog site, and I'm also chairman of the Spring-Springs Township Historic Preservation Committee. We have a talk coming up at Spring-Springs in the township building in the community room, October 2nd. That will be a trip down memory lane. Specifically deals with memory lane in Spring-Springs Township. It has an interesting history. It got its name in 1806 when a 300-acre property in the area of Elias Meyer was divided exactly in half, and that surveyor's line became memory lane. It became a farm lane for them. Various businesses in the meantime basically have been called memory lane kennels, memory lanes, this and that. But in the 1950s, it became industrialized, first of all, with Caterpillar building on both sides of it. And then we've counted so far about 50 restaurants that at one time or another were along that lane. So we thought that would be an interesting talk because people like to talk about restaurants. So that will be one of the talks I'm working on. And I'm finishing up my 150th anniversary of York Manufacturing Company, which was established exactly, I guess 2 days from now. It will be 150 years ago, which became York Corporation. I've given 8 talks. Well, I've given 6 so far, and I have 2 more, which will be a luncheon talk for an engineering group, and then a luncheon talk for the 25-year club of York Corporation, Borg Warner, Johnson Control retirees. So that'll be coming up. I did a talk last week at the Paul Smith Library in Shrewsbury. A lot of interesting comments at that will prompt a couple of York's Past posts. A lot of them were associated with the John Amick that did a lot of the earlier development work of New Freedom. It's the same John Amick that was basically in Amicksville in Northern York County. A lot of similarities of what he did down there with his son and son-in-law that actually did everything from the early post offices, the depots down there. His son-in-law was the one responsible for establishing the Stewartstown Railroad. So a lot of neat things came up from that talk that I'll be writing about. So that'll be coming up. Thanks. Yep.
Hi, I'm Tom Hook, relatively new to York County, although my family does go way back. I'm happy to move up here as a result of genealogical research, but I'm currently a member of the Broadbeck's band, one of the players in the band, and we had the opportunity recently to participate in a community band festival you may have heard about with the 4 remaining community bands in York County. And that prompted me to think about putting together the consolidated history of community bands in York County. Goes all the way back into the mid-1800s and the establishment of what were then called cornet bands. And it coincides with the establishment of similar bands in Europe, specifically UK, Germany, and Italy. So what I'm looking to do, I'm in the early process right now of compiling the research, but looking at all of the bands that I can find evidence of that existed here in York County, trace them back to their origins, compare how they started up with similar bands in Europe, and then trace them forward to the 4 community bands that still exist today. So that's what I'm looking to do. As I said, it's early in the research process, but if anybody's got information that they can help me with, I would certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm Charles Stanball, founder and president of LEADship, Northeastern New York County History and Preservation. We just opened in May a history center in York Haven, the old York Haven Library. We're open 3 days a week. We'll be ending in 2 weeks. We'll be ending the focus on York Haven, and we'll be going into Mount Wolf for 3 months, and then in January, we have plans. Every 3 months, we're going to be focusing another municipality in York County area. And not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we'll be touring the Redland Quaker Meeting House. And we still have some openings. There's limited seating there, but if you contact me, I can still get you scheduled in for that. Jim McCord's going to be speaking about Mount Wolf in October. We have a lot of exciting things going on. We have the Northeastern School District helping us out. We have many students that are helping us out with our group. And you can check out our website. And we have some other members here as well from it. And I appreciate everything. And come up and look at us. We don't have a lot of things. Oh, we also have a Landing Library there. That you can actually take out history books if you're interested. And so see us sometime. And if you need directions, just look me up, but it'll be in York Haven.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anne Gray. I've done a bunch of work here in York, researching and helping out with the William Goodrich Freedom Center and Underground Railroad Museum. And I'm the main person who has ever spent a significant amount of time researching the history of the women in the Goodrich Freedom Center, in the William Goodrich family. I studied, I've given talks on the life experience of Rhoda Gray, who married the oldest Goodrich son, Glenn Alvin, and how her life went with their kids. And I've also researched and actually even been to Minneapolis, Minnesota to follow the life and path of Emily O. Goodrich, who went out to what was at the time just a territory on the frontier and helped establish a thriving African-American community there and worked as an abolitionist following in the path of their parents. So if anybody's looking for someone to give an Underground Railroad talk, you can do that too. But I came up for 2 reasons. I wanted to share that this past year, I was hired to do some research for someone who was researching both his own work and the work of an ancestor up in Rhode Island. And I was just reminded because I did a lot of research online for that. We went through newspapers.com and stuff. And at a certain point, I was like, I think there's more, but I think I have to go to the History Center. So I went to the Rhode Island Historical Society History Center, and in fact was surprised to find that they had tons of stuff from their microfiche collection that was digitized. You could only access it if you were actually in the archive, but it was already digitized. So we just hit the jackpot, and it was so much fun. So just another encouragement for anybody who's doing research. Go and look, that you might find a lot more than you think existed there. The other thing I wanted to mention, as at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center right now, they have a new director of Jewish life and culture, Adriel Resch. And she is working on collecting and building a display about the Jewish history here in York. And probably going to put together a walking history tour down in the downtown area around the high school and whatnot. And so if anybody has any input on that, please contact Adriel. Thank you.
You can see the value of this if you're, for example, Tom was asking about community bands, and I bet there's some folks here that have information on community bands, and so, you know, let Tom know, but also we'll make the email list available to everybody. You can see what the projects people are working on, and there's a regular discourse among local historians, people doing research in York County, you know, email, and a lot of it is centered around the History Center Library. That's kind of the epicenter of all this. So, you know, I'm glad you came tonight to understand more about that, but also a lot of the exchanges go on one-on-one via email and so on. So, you know, the custom has been that if you have a question, just ask someone. And people were always, I do that myself. I keep on for Stephen all the time, Stephen Smith all the time. He's good about it. So, and others in the group as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and start without any further delay. We'll talk. We'll have Nicole Smith come up. She's a Gowerstown grad, and she did her graduate work at Penn State Harrisburg in American Studies. And it's interesting how many people, past and present, that have American Studies backgrounds from Penn State Harrisburg. Tom Schaefer was one, June Lloyd, Ted Sickler, Jamie Norpel, Jonathan Stayer, Joe McClure, who's my son, and I even eat through somehow. So, there is a really good program up there, and it really has helped, the whole research community here in York County. Nicole comes in a line of archivists here at York County History Center. If we just start with June Lloyd, who many of you know, then Lila Foreman Shaw followed her, and Nicole followed Lila. And now Adam Pence is the archivist librarian, because Nicole received a promotion, a well-deserved promotion. As now I'll probably get this wrong, she's vice president of interpretation, which means she's over the library and archives and also over the collections. I'm sure she'll correct me if I butchered that in some way. But, she's a valuable asset to anybody doing research in York County. So if you haven't got a chance to meet her tonight, I know you have that opportunity here. So ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Smith.
Thank you, Jim. That was really glowing. It's just really nice to see all of you here tonight. We're just so excited to finally be open. I know it was a long time coming, and thank you all for your patience over these long beginning of 2024 and before that. I'd like to ask, how many of you have been to our facility before tonight, as far as seeing the museum, have you all seen the museum? Okay, a library? Yeah, couple? Okay, great. Well, that'll help me know what to talk about. Before I get started, I usually am the one that comes up here and makes announcements for other programs. So I'm going to do that. We do have lots of programs going on here at the History Center, and most of them are streamed online and available on our YouTube channel if you don't make it in person. But coming up on September 14th is actually a Hispanic Heritage Month program. It's a talk on Taino history here at 10:30, as well as some activities, hands-on activities for children. And then on September 18th is our Civil War Roundtable program. Scott Mingus will be speaking on the Gettysburg Campaign in York County. And then September 19th is our annual membership meeting for members of the History Center. So just a couple other things going on. If you haven't done so already, please visit our website, which is yorkhistorycenter.org. And please join our email list so you can stay up to date on all the goings on around here. Okay, so I'm here to talk to you a little bit. Can y'all hear me okay? Brand new everything. We're still trying to figure it out. New microphones. About the History Center and how to make the most of your visit here. It's very different in some ways, but also similar to what we're used to in the old History Center. So a little bit about what's new and what's next. So I thought I'd start with photos of the top left, which is the concept drawing for this building. And then the bottom photo is the actual view of this building. So they did a pretty good job at matching the architectural design. Again, many years coming, almost 2 years of construction, so it's many years of planning. In fact, our exhibits took 8 years of planning, if you include interruptions with COVID and other things. Here's a couple of views from our museum. If you were here during our grand opening at the beginning of August, we had over 2,700 people through, which was really exciting for the History Center. And so we did take a couple pictures that weekend. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to see, and I'll talk more about that. Just some basics for those of you who are very new and want to come visit. We are open Tuesday through Saturday. And also the museum is open on Sunday afternoons now. You can buy tickets online or when you arrive. And tickets to the museum are $20. Tickets to the library are $12. Now, in the library, we recommend reservations since the seating is limited. So please keep that in mind. A couple of the benefits that you might not know about is we did start a senior discount. So we didn't used to have a senior discount for the museum or the library. And now that's $2. So be sure to take advantage of that. We also have a student rate for the museum. And students are always free at the library, students of all ages. Sunday museum cost is $10. So that's a good deal too, if you just want to see the main exhibit. We also have a group rate. If you have 10 or more people, we can do a discounted rate for groups. Another benefit to keep in mind is coming on the weekend. So to make the most of your $20, if you come on Friday or Saturday, you can also tour the Agricultural and Industrial Museum included in that price. And then Saturdays, there's also our Fire Museum. So you can actually see 3 museums on Saturdays if you wish to do that. And then April through November, we have our colonial tours included during the weekend on Saturdays. So that's all for the price. Here's a photo of our new library. I'm looking forward to showing that to you in a little bit. We'll take a tour. But on the left is our membership pricing. Now, one of the best ways to make the most of the History Center is to actually buy an annual membership. And you can see here that a senior individual membership starts at $45. That gives you free admission to the museum and all the museums and the library for an entire year. So it also includes discount coupons that you can hand out to friends and family. And there are other packages that include family and children, grandchildren. So if you really want to make the most out of your research time and your museum visits, we highly recommend a membership. With your membership, you also get the journal of your county heritage for free every year, the newsletter, and discounts in our gift shop. So good things to think about. Another important thing to do before your visit, to make the most of your visit, is to check out our website. Now, we will be getting a new website shortly, hoping within the next month or so that this will be updated and more easy to use. But you can find out a lot about upcoming events and programs, as well as resources for the library, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Another feature is our e-newsletter that you can sign up for on our website, which will show you all the free programs and discounted admission days and all that sort of thing that we do have. Okay, so starting with the museum. When you come in, you'll be given, this is part of our museum guide brochure, brand new. And it is something that we're really happy to have. It tells you the various sections of the museum, as well as highlights for artifacts and exhibits to see. One thing that we really want to do in the near future is to improve our website so that people can really plan ahead before you visit both the museum and the library, so you have a better idea what you want to see to plan ahead. One thing that's important to understand about the museum is how it's laid out. The museum, it's not strictly chronological. You'll find information from the earliest peoples of the area to modern day happenings throughout the 2 floors. It's laid out by themes. Main themes are building, community, growing, which is agricultural history, and making, which is manufacturing and craftsmanship. So when you have a better idea of how the museum's laid out, it'll help you to decide what you'd like to focus on in your visit. Another thing that we're starting on our website that we're going to be expanding are sample itineraries. This is an example of 3 that we're working on right now. For folks, if you want to say, come and focus just on the Black history of York County. And here is an itinerary of what's currently on exhibit in that area. We're also working on one for women's history and military history. So if you go on our website right now, you can download 3 of these sample itineraries that we hope to expand in the near future. So another thing to keep in mind when you're visiting is it's not, the museum is not the old historical society. We do have a new focus, which is focusing on people and their stories. So we start in the beginning of the museum, we talk about history makers and how everyone can make history, both everyday people and famous people. We focus on both people that make a difference in their community. And then throughout the museum, we use the artifacts and images to tell the stories of those people. So it's a different kind of storytelling than our traditional museum was. It's also focused more on being inclusive of diverse communities and of places throughout the county. So we made a real effort to focus on the entire county and into diverse communities throughout the county. We also have places throughout the exhibit that suggest other places you can visit to learn more. We can never tell the whole history of everything that happened in York County just in our museum at one time. So we want you to go out into the county and visit Redland, visit Delta and all those wonderful places. Another thing about the museum to think about is, who are you bringing with you? Are you bringing your grandchildren with you? What are they interested in? We have a number of things that will engage young people now. We didn't have anything like that as far as hands-on activities at the old Historical Society Museum. So there's a number of hands-on tactile exhibits and quite a few digital exhibits. And those are things that can be explored by children and adults. So you'll see a lot more interactivity. The hands-on exhibits are specifically related to STEAM concepts, science, engineering concepts. So we can do a tour with children just on those topics. The digital exhibits feature allow us to go into deeper history about York County and to feature images from our archives and from archives around the county. So it's an exciting change for us. The other feature that we have is, again, focusing on people's stories, but then in the final gallery, we ask you to share yours. You know, we're serious that everyone makes a contribution to York County. So we have installed 2 recording booths where you can do mini oral history work with friends or family or yourself. We also encourage folks to make an appointment with the archives. We offer scanning. You know, if you have things that you'd like to donate to the archives or the collections, or if you don't quite want to donate it, but you'd love to share it and see it in an exhibit someday, if it's a photograph or document, we can scan that and put it in the archives. And oral history work. We want to do a lot more work in oral history interviewing. So as far as what you can see in the future. So, okay, you've seen the new museum, that's wonderful. But what's next? Excuse me. One of the most important things about the museum is its ability to rotate. We're really excited that our museum, the designers designed all the cases, the digital, to be easy to rotate for the staff to do, so that we can include new donations, new stories, new oral histories and photographs. We have over 80,000 artifacts in the History Center's collection. And a lot of them haven't been on exhibit before. So we want to be able to share a lot of those things. So one of our goals is every year and a half, you'll be able to see something new. You won't go to the museum and see the same old exhibit that you saw 10 years ago. That's a thing of the past. So, and as you know, York County is full of so much history. Another thing that we can do is temporary exhibits. We didn't have a lot of space for that in the past. We have a small gallery just off of this room. It's actually pretty big. It's like half the size of this room, but we can do changing exhibits in there of all topics. So there are things that we can't necessarily fit in the main exhibits that we can put in there in the future. And we'll be sure to advertise all these things. Another thing about what's coming up is the 250th. And I know you've heard a lot about it. We're starting to hear about it, but in 2026, it's the 250th anniversary of our country, of independence. And in 2027, of the Articles of Confederation being adopted. Now, I can't tell you any specific plans right now, but I can tell you that that's the next big thing for the History Center. So stay tuned for events and programs and exhibit and lots more online resources related to the 250th anniversary. We're also going to work with connecting the History Center to the plans going on in York County They have their own committee running things, and then what's going on in other organizations throughout the county. Okay, so I am gonna move on to talking about the library and archives. But I think if anyone has any questions about the museum, that would probably be a good time. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Library and archives. I know many of you are authors and are very interested. It should look pretty familiar to you. Up top here is the new reading room. The second picture below is the new archives. You're seeing the new archives on moving day. Actually, moving week. It took a week and a half. And we'll get to walk through and show you in more detail. But relocating the library and archives was a proud moment for us. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A week and a half of moving physically, 60 moving trucks just for the library and archives collections. So if you're not familiar with our collections, we really have something for everyone. And that's something to keep in mind to make the most of your visit when you're thinking about coming to the library and archives is we are always getting donations. So whether it's genealogy resources or local history collections, letters, we had Civil War muster rolls this week, diaries, maps, business records, military records. They keep coming in. So don't think that you won't be able to find something new. All aspects of local history. Another thing, again, to stress, making the most of your visit is to make a reservation. It would be terrible if you were to come and there wouldn't be a seat. We haven't been quite that busy, but you never know. We also highly encourage you to bring your own devices. We're much better equipped than we used to be for laptops. We have very good Wi-Fi. There are outlets, charging outlets on all the tables. And through your own laptop, you'll be able to access our subscriptions on site to ancestry.com, newspapers.com, Fold3, and familysearch.org. So these are all things that you can access here on site. Again, talking about what's next for the library and archives is really about the digital resources and the online resources. When you come in person, you'll still get the great staff, the great volunteer and personal service that we've been known for. Again, it also helps if you want to call ahead, let us know what you're working on. We'd be happy to pull files for you ahead of time. And they don't have to just come, we can arrange for that and give you advice on where else to look for your projects. So, but on our website, if you're not familiar, there is quite a bit to get you started. If you haven't been to our library and archives in person yet. And even if you have. And we hope to add to this, these opportunities. In fact, we are working on a plan to create a list of all of our archival collections on our website. We do not have that right now. Some places do, where you can just search for, do we have a collection on World War II flags or anything you could think of. And we hope to do that next year is our goal for that. We are also offering a survey. We'd like to know what digital resources you all would like to see on our website. So if you go to the library page, you can fill out a survey as far as what digital resources would you like to see. Currently, we have some helpful things in our genealogy section. If you go to our website, explore library and archives genealogy, you can actually access our surname index database, which is a new feature. You can put in your last name and it'll bring up every variation we currently have in our collection. Could be 3, 2 or 3 or 20. But it lets you know that we have a file on your family and what that file number is. So you can bring that with you. And it'll save you time when you get here. We also have a listing of all of our family reports, which are compilations that were done by the History Center back in the 30s through the 50s. 500 early families, summaries of their ancestry, very useful. We have a list of what's available with those as well on our website. We also have indexes to Neil Hively's, Dr. Neil Hively's land record books. You can do some research in that area before coming, if you'd like to. We're also really fortunate to have Dennis Brandt is keeping his Civil War database current. So he has thousands of Civil War veterans in a database, excuse me, in a database on our website that you can do some research on them before coming in as well. So lots of, if you do get a chance, please poke around on the website. It's a way to get you familiar with what we do have when we do come. Okay, well, I think, does anyone have any particular questions? And then we can go on our tour. Yes, sir.
Do you have any corresponding database for Revolutionary War?
No, we do not. We do have a finding aid, a listing of collections that we have related to the Revolution, different militia lists and that sort of thing. It is not very comprehensive. So nobody's done the work for us anyway, as far as actually listing individual veterans. A lot of the Civil War work was done through pension files at the National Archives and that sort of thing. But we do have resources and indexes, physical ones that you can use when you come. And actually, I'm sure Family Search and Ancestry.com have a lot of indexes now for the earlier veterans. Yes.
DAR has a lot too.
DAR, yes, good, thank you. Any other questions?
I wonder if
Jim?
anybody here has a case that or a puzzle that you've been working on that you just want to, I know that you do. Just give an example. I know that we'll see more downstairs, but give an example to Nicole and let her see if she can answer it. Or see if she can give you a resource off the top of her head.
Oh my, I didn't realize this would be a quiz tonight. No.
I can get one.
Okay,
I've been very curious, you know, Rhoda Gray and her older brother both intermarried with the Goodriches. But we don't know how long her parents lived in town. So I was wondering if you could, I don't maybe see where her parents.
have you been through our family files for the great phrase?
A little bit.
That's always where we start, obituaries, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's that would probably take a little digging. We also have our city directories that they do show where people lived, going back to 1860-ish.
How about census records?
Census,
How
yeah.
far back do we go?
Pretty much everything you need for the census is on ancestry.com. And our volunteers could help you navigate that.
How far back is it? First one, 1790.
Yeah.
But the good information starts at 1850.
Right,
Well, all the
right. It's a
children
little
listed.
sparse in the early 1800s, but yeah, we do have the 1790. So we have wonderful volunteers like Mr. Smith here that, you know, our real genealogists I'm an archivist, but people that have done it, they've done that digging and can point you in the right directions.
Any other cases?
I've been looking for a great grandfather forever, he's buried here. But I did find out that he worked on the railroad,
Okay.
is there any
We do have,
specific railroad?
we do have some. We do have some railroad records, not a lot. Give it, Steve. But,
Actually,
as
the
far as
Pennsylvania
workers.
Railroad Museum.
Yeah, I was just gonna
A
say,
very good resource.
Yeah.
They have the archives.
if we don't have it, we could push in that direction. They have a great archives at the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum. Yeah. Most of our business records are strictly that, they talk about the business, but every once in a while we find employee information and stuff. Thank you all for your time, I really appreciate it, and anyone that would like to, we'll take a guided tour through the new library and archives. So, thank you.
The raises, we know they didn't die.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming online and in person. Our next writers roundtable will be in December and we're gonna have Jeremy Young talk about historic Wrightsville. So thank you.
Hey, Nicole, how do we move down there?
Follow me. I haven't seen any questions online, so let's stop our Zoom and head on down.
Yeah.